Hi everybody. So this video is about cheap and easy ways to repair exhaust system leaks with repairs that last. That's the key thing, to make them last. It's not easy. I have owned clunker cars, old cars, since starting in 1970. And they're always having exhaust leaks. And the problem is, but you can't pass inspection if the exhaust system is leaking because it's noisy, and you pull into the inspection bay and the guy can hear the rumble and boom, you fail. You don't get a sticker, you can't drive the car. So today, I'm going to show you how I've done this. I've used all the different methods over the years. Most of them don't work. Most of them don't last. Finally, after a lot of trial and error, I found a system that works. I've used it multiple times on a car that I own today. I used this method a year ago to get through inspection, and the car's quiet and there's no exhaust leak. So it's something that lasts. I want to share it with everybody. It doesn't cost a lot of money. So if the situation I've described applies to you, and I know there's a lot of you out there, watch the video and let me know what you think. So it's hard to do good videoing underneath a car. So I have a piece of exhaust system here that I have, which has a split at this curve point in the muffler. In the exhaust pipe. So I think you can see that there. That's an area, since these exhaust pipes are all curved and they snake through the chassis of the car, a lot of times you get leaks in places in the pipe that are not perfectly straight and flat, like this, okay? But a lot of times that's not where the leaks are. The leaks are in the joints. The leaks are near those. You can get those flexible pieces now that go into the exhaust systems. Those start to leak. Like this one, you get cracks where the pipe curves. Those are the ones that are harder to repair, but this method will let you do it. So I'm gonna demonstrate it here, but what I'm gonna show you, you can actually do it under a car pretty easily. Everything I use is pretty much dry except for the paste. And the paste is very easy to get into the crack. So let's get started. What we have here, what I use is I fill the crack with muffler putty, something like this. This costs about $6. And over the putty, I put some steel wool, $1.50 for this, I think. So this kind of deadens the sound, which is what you want. Then what I do is I wrap it with this. This is pipe wrap typically for motorcycles. And it withstands incredible amounts of heat. And it's flexible and it's very strong. So what I do is after I putty the pipe, I wrap it tightly with this, okay? With this stuff. This one was $35. What do I use to hold this in place after I wrap the pipe? I use these stainless steel clamps. These things are amazing. They're made out of stainless steel. They'll last longer than any car made. And they can withstand weather, rust, salt, you name it. And they don't slip. Once you tighten them down, they don't slip. Okay, so let's get started. Here's our muffler. Got all my materials ready. I've got my pipe wrap. I've got some steel wool. I've got the putty. And I've got clamps. And I got some water, because you have to use that a little bit, and some sandpaper. So I'm doing this out here on the bench because it's easier for you guys to see what I'm doing. But you can do this underneath the car. It's harder, obviously, because you're slipping things, underneath between the chassis and the pipes. But believe it or not, you can do it. I've done it. So the first thing you want to do is prepare the area around the crack by sanding it. Okay, just get the excess rust off. Okay. that. If you've got a wire brush that fits in the space, you know, give it a little brush, get the scale off, okay, and so forth. All right, then, what we do then, we take the sponge and we wet the area, okay? The area has to be a little bit wet because that makes the muffler putty adhere better. Okay, so now we take the muffler putty and we're gonna push it into the crack and around the crack. So here we go. Just put a bead all there like that. And then mush it in. Make sure that you're getting it in the crack and around it. So there we go. You get plenty of this stuff. So and smooth it out. But leave a nice, over the crack, leave a nice hump of the stuff. So it's bulging up a little bit. And you want to do this job when the exhaust system is cold. Don't do it while the exhaust system is hot. Okay, so now I'm going to take my steel wool, yes, and I'm just going to push it right over. And the steel wool fibers are going to get mushed in with the putty, and it'll just stay in place like that. Okay, now I start my wrap, which is this. So start, you know, if the crack's about here, right in the middle of the gap of the turn. So start on the side, and you're going to wrap it. Your first wrap, you're just going to overlap, and as you do it, make sure you keep it tight. Okay, you don't want a loose wrap. So go around once, then start to angle it, as I'm doing here, angle it towards the area where the repair is. So as you can see, I'm overlapping by about half of the width of the fabric each time I go around. And again, it's harder if you're underneath the car, but you can do it. I've done it. You just have to slide the fabric, you know, through the little gap, wrap it around, just slide it through again. So I'm going to do this. And again, I'm overlapping by about half each time until I get well past where the repair is, onto an area where the pipe is nice and strong and solid. And then I'm going back over it a second time. Like that. And there. And there. And I'm back to where I started. Okay. So now, the most important thing, now I'm going to put the pipe clamps on. So I start with my pipe clamp, put it around there, and the important thing is to put the first one where the tail of the fabric ends, because that's the area where it started and where it ends, and you want to make sure that is clamped down really nice and tight. Actually, I'm going to turn this around. Okay, I previously unscrewed the pipe clamp all the way till the thing released. So you just push it back in together and hold it tight while you screw this to get it started again. Once it bites, it starts going. And again, making sure this is tight. And if you have one of these, you can do it even faster. A la this. So as you start to tighten it, make sure it's centered over that tail of the fabric. And then you want to get it snug and tight. These things do not loosen up. They're amazing. You tighten them a certain amount, they never loosen up. So you want to get it tight, but believe it or not, you could, if your exhaust pipe is a little weak, you could crush it by over tightening it. So don't torque it too much. Now the next one that I want to do, I'm putting right over the area where the steel wool and the repair putty was. Go like this, and right about there. You can see it bulging out a little bit. So I'm going to put one on either side of that as well. I'm going to put one over here. So this end doesn't loosen up on me for some reason. As you can see, this thing is real nice and tight, and believe me, it is not going anywhere. Like I said, I've done repairs like this, and they've lasted years. And believe it or not, even if there was a place where two pieces of pipe came together and there was a flange, and that flange, inside that flange, there was a leak and noise was coming out and exhaust was coming out. Believe it or not, this stuff is all flexible enough that you can push putty into that space between the flanges, wrap it in steel wool, then wrap it in this pipe wrap, and put these clamps around it, and it will seal up and it will hold. I did that on a GMC Yukon, a 95 GMC Yukon, and it sealed it up real nice and lasted for as long as I had the car. So here's the repair that I did on my 12-year-old or 11-year-old Kia Soul. Underneath that repair is actually one of those flexible sections that allows the exhaust system to flex. It's made out of braided stainless steel. So that's why it's bigger than the repair that I showed you I was doing. But that's an example of how you can use this method on sections of your exhaust system that are not just a smooth pipe. You can use it over flanges, the braided flexible sections, whatever. I actually wrapped this twice. I wrapped it once. The first wrap that was holding in the putty, I did the way I showed you. The second wrap, I wrapped it again, and I used a different kind of stainless steel clamp, but it's holding just fine. I've taken this car out, past inspection like this. I've taken it out hunting over muddy dirt roads, and that repair is just going to last forever. Get in the car here and rev it up. No noise whatsoever. So I want to thank everybody for watching today. If you have any comments, please put them down below. If you like what you saw, subscribe to my channel. Thank you.